Friends, today we will learn about transcription and regulation. Roger D. Korenberg won the 2006 Nobel Prize in Chemistry for his studies of the molecular basis of eukaryotic transcription. Transcription is the initially stage of gene expression in which a specific segment of DNA is copied into RNA by the enzyme RNA polymerase. Simply simply started transcription is the synthesis of RNA from a DNA template. Also important is the concept that transcription, whether prokaryotic or eukaryotic, has three main events. Let's know about the steps of the general steps for transcription. First is one or more segment factor protein binds to the RNA polymerase holoenzyme, allowing it to bind to, to, uh, to promoter DNA. RNA polymerase creates a transcription bubble which separates the two strands of the DNA helix. This is done by breaking the hydrogen bonds between complementary DNA nucleotides. RNA polymerase adds matching RNA nucleotides to the complementary nucleotides of one DNA strand. RNA sugar phosphate backbone forms the assistance from RNA polymerase to form an RNA strand. DNA hydrogen bond of the untwisted RNA DNA helix break, freeing the newly synthesized RNA strand. If the cell has a nucleus, the RNA may be further processed. This may include polyadenylation, capping, and splicing. The RNA may remain in the nucleus or exist to the cytoplasm through the nuclear pore complex. A DNA transcription unit encoding for a protein may contain both a coding sequence which will translated into the protein and regulatory sequence which direct and regulate the synthesis of that protein. The regulatory sequence before the coding sequence is called the 5' untranslated region. The sequence after the coding sequence is called the 3' untranslated region. Now come to functions of upstream factors. Influence the initiation of transcription by contacting members of the basal apparatus and promotes assembly of the apparatus. Next is may bind coactivators that interact with the basal apparatus. Typically bind to TFID, TFFID, TFIID, TFIIB, or TFIIA. TFIID provides various TFS that can be interacted with its with if TFS are unique to a specific promoter, then the interaction can control promoter specific transcription. Most interactions are positive in nature and induce transcription. Repressors may prevent the building of the basal apparatus. Only one of the two DNA strands serve as a template for transcription. DNA is read by RNA polymerase from 3' end to 5' end during transcription. The complementary RNA is created from the 5' end to 3' end direction. This processivity is due to the nature of RNA polymerase's ability to add nucleotides to a growing chain. The use of only the 3' end to 5' end strand eliminates the need for the Okazaki fragments seen in DNA replication. This removes the need for a RNA primer to initiate RNA synthesis as in DNA replication. The non-template DNA strand is called the coding strand because its sequence is the same as the newly created RNA transcripts. except for the substitution of uracil for thymine. Transcription has some proofreading mechanisms, but they are fewer and less effective than the controls for copying DNA. Therefore, transcription has a lower copying fidelity than DNA replication. Now come to prokaryotic transcription. First comes RNA polymerase. DNA dependent RNA synthesis is catalyzed by the enzyme DNA dependent RNA polymerase, simply called RNA polymerase. It was discovered by the scientists named Samuel B. Weiss and Gerald Harvis in 1960. In prokaryotes, single type of RNA polymerase appears to be responsible for the synthesis of all different types of RNA such as mRNA, rRNA and tRNA. Eubacterial RNA pol is a multi-subunit enzyme made up of 5 different polypeptides, that is alpha, beta, beta dash, omega, gamma. The halo enzyme alpha 2, beta, beta dash, omega and gamma can be separated into two components, the core enzyme, that is alpha 2 beta beta dash omega, and the sigma factor, that is the A polypeptide. The complete enzyme or haloenzyme in E. coli has a molecular mass of approximately 465 kilodalton. The A subunit is required for assembly of the core enzyme and plays a role in promoter recognition. The alpha subunit also plays a role in the interaction of RNA polymerase with some regulatory factors. The beta and beta dash subunits together make up the catalytic center. Beta subunit involves in chain elongation. The gamma subunit is concerned specifically with promoter recognition. The omega subunit facilitates assembly of RNA polymerase and stabilizes the assembled RNA polymerase. The catalytic activity of RNA polymerase is provided by core complex composed of beta and beta dash subunit, omega subunit and 2 copies of alpha subunits. Now come to RNA dependent RNA polymerase. Let's know about RNA dependent RNA polymerase. Some viruses like F2 and R17 contain RNA genomes. The single stranded RNA in these viruses are replicated in the host cell by the action of enzymes called RNA dependent RNA polymerases or RNA replicases. RNA replicase requires RNA as a template and will not function with DNA. Synthesis of the new RNA strand proceeds in the 5' to 3' direction, and the chemical mechanism is similar to that of DNA dependent transcription. RNA replicases are specific for the RNA of their own virus. The RNAs of the host cell are not replicated. Now come to prokaryotic promoter. Now come to prokaryotic promoter. A promoter can be defined as the cis-acting position dependent DNA sequence necessary for accurately and efficiently initiating transcription of the gene. The DNA sequence of the promoter region is recognized by the RNA polymerase. The best characterized prokaryotic promoters are those of the bacterium E. coli, that is recognized by gamma 70 of RNA P01. It contains two 6 base pairs of consensus sequences. The 10 sequences is also known as Pribnow box. The term consensus sequence is applied to nucleic acid and protein. A consensus sequence is the one that reflects the most common base or amino acid at each position when a series of related nucleic acid or protein sequences are compared. Let's know about the process of transcription. The transcription reaction can be divided into three stages: initiation, elongation, and termination. Transcription begins when an RNA polymerase molecule binds to a promoter sequence on the DNA double helix. The polymerase then moves along the template strand, extending its growing RNA chain in the 5' to 3' direction by the stepwise addition of ribonucleotide unit. It reaches a termination signal, at which point the newly synthesized RNA chain and the polymerase are released from the DNA. Now come to initiation. Initiation of transcription describes the formation of a first phosphodiester bond between two nucleotides in an RNA. RNA polymerase as a holoenzyme binds at the promoter and starts the initiation reaction by forming a closed binary complex. Closed means that the DNA remains duplex. Sigma Sigma factor confers the ability to recognize consensus sequence within the promoter. The core enzyme does not distinguish between promoters and other sequences of DNA. Sigma factor changes the DNA binding properties of RNA polymerase so that its affinity for promoters is increased and reduced for other sequences of our DNA. When RNA polymerase holoenzyme initially binds to DNA, it covers some 75 to 80 base pair extending from 55 to plus 20 minus 55 to plus 20. The closed complex is converted into an open complex by melting of a short region of DNA within the sequence bound by the enzyme. The transcription bubble is created by a local unwinding then that begins at the site bound by RNA polymerase. The length of the transcription bubble created by a local unwinding is 12 to 14 base pair. The next step is to incorporate the first two nucleotides. Then a phosphodiester bond forms between them. This generates a ternary complex that contains RNA, DNA, and enzyme. Only the holoenzyme can initiate transcription. The core enzyme has the ability to synthesize RNA on a DNA template but cannot initiate transcription at the proper sites. The sigma factor is usually released when the RNA chain reaches 8 to 9 bases, leaving the core enzyme to undertake elongation. The enzyme remains at the promoter while it synthesizes the first 9 nucleotide bonds. RNA synthesis is frequently aborted after usually 2 or 3, but up to 10 nucleotides have been joined. This phenomenon is known as abortive initiation. Once a polymerase manages is make an RNA longer than 10 base pair, a stable ternary complex is formed. The initiation phase ends when the enzyme succeeds in extending the chain and clears the promoter. In contrast with DNA synthesis, RNA synthesis can start de novo without the requirement for the primer. Hence, first nucleotide with purine nitrogenous base present in the transcription at 5' end is nucleoside triphosphate, that is PPPG or PPPA. Promoter structure determines the basal level of transcription initiation. The consensus sequence for the E. coli promoter is quite variable. Hence, different promoters vary in their efficiency. Efficiency is defined as the number of productive initiations that are promoted per second. A productive initiation being one that results in the RNA polymerase clearing the promoter and beginning synthesis of a full length transcription. On the basis of nature of consensus sequence, the promoter may be strong or weak. Strong promoter supports a high rate of transcription initiation. Most of the promoters in E. coli are strong promoters. Now come to elongation. Elongation involves the movement of the transcription bubble by a disruption of DNA structure. The enzyme moves along the DNA and extends the growing RNA chain. As the enzyme moves, it unwinds the DNA helix to expose a new segment of the template in single stranded condition. Nucleotides are covalently added to the 3' end of the growing RNA chain, forming an RNA DNA hybrid. The length of RNA DNA hybrid within open complex is approximately 8 to 9 base pair. During each nucleotide addition, the beta and gamma phosphates are removed from the incoming nucleotide and the hydroxyl group is removed from the 3' carbon of the nucleotide present at the end of the chain. The overall reaction rate is for approximately 40 nucleotides per second at 37 degrees centigrade. During elongation, when RNA polymerase transcribes DNA, unwinding and rewinding occurs. As RNA polymerase moves forward along the double helix, it generates positive supercoils ahead and leaves negative supercoils behind. Enzymes gyrase, and topoisomerase 1 participate during this process. Gyrase removes positive supercoil and introduces negative supercoils, whereas topoisomerase 1 removes negative supercoils that develop behind. Cordycepin, an adenosine analog that lacks a 3' OH group, inhibits elongation. Its addition to the 3' end of RNA prevents the RNA chain's further elongation. It is readily phosphorylated to its mono, di, and triphosphate intracellularly. Triphosphate cordycepin can be incorporated into RNA and inhibits transcription elongation. Now come to termination. Let's know about termination. What do you mean by termination? Termination involves recognition of the point at which no further bases should be added to the chain. The sequence of DNA required for this reaction is called the terminator. At this point, the enzyme stops adding nucleotide to the growing RNA chain, releases the completed product and dissociates from the DNA template. Exactly how termination occurs is not known. Bacteria appear to use two distinct strategies for transcription termination, that is intrinsic termination and row dependent termination. Intrinsic termination means intrinsic terminator have been thought to promote dissociation of the polymerase by destabilizing the attachment of the growing transcription to the template. In this case, transcript forms hairpin structure by forming a complementary base pairing. Intrinsic terminators include palindromic sequences that form hairpins varying in length from 7 to 20 base pair. The stem loop structure includes a GC rich region and is followed by a U rich region. The typical distance between the hairpin and U rich region is 7 to 9 base pairs. The second type of termination is row dependent. This termination requires the activity of the protein called RHO. RHO is an ATP dependent RNA stimulated helicase that disrupts the nascent RNA DNA complex. It is a approximately 275 kilodalton hexamer of identical subunits. It binds to RNA at root site and translocates along RNA in 5' to 3' direction until it reaches the RNA to DNA hybrid in RNA polymerase, where it releases the RNA from the DNA. The root site is rich in residues and poor in G residues. Eukaryotic transcription. Let's know about eukaryotic transcription. It occurs within the nucleus where DNA is packaged into nucleosomes and higher order chromatin structures. The complexity of the eukaryotic genome necessitates a great variety and complexity of gene expression control. The transcription machinery that catalyzes this complex reaction has at its core three multi-subunit RNA polymerases. RNA polymerase 1 is responsible for transcribing RNA that codes for genes that become structural components of the ribosome, a protein responsible for the translation of RNA into proteins. Now come to pre-initiation. The initiation of transcription requires the presence of a core promoter sequence in the DNA. Promoters are regions of DNA that promote transcription and in eukaryotes are found at 30, 75 and 90 base pairs upstream from the transcription start site, that is TSS, transcription start site. Transcription factors are proteins that bind these promoter sequences and facilitate the binding of RNA polymerase. The most characterized type of core promoter in eukaryotes is a short DNA sequence known as a Tata box, found 25-30 base pairs upstream from the TSS. The Tata box as a core promoter is the binding site for a transcription factor known as Tata binding protein, which itself. Transcription factors are proteins that bind these promoter sequences and facilitate the binding of RNA polymerase. The most characterized type of core promoter in eukaryotes is a short DNA sequence known as Tata box, found 25 to 30 base pairs upstream from the TSS. The Tata box as a core promoter is the binding site for a transcription factor known as Tata binding protein, TATA binding protein, TBP, which is itself a subunit of another transcription factor called transcription factor 2D, TFIID, which is itself a subunit of the another transcription factor called transcription factor 2D, TFIID. After TFIID bind to the Tata box via the TBP, 5 more transcription factors and RNA polymerase combine around the Tata box in a series of stages to form a pre-initiation complex. One transcription factor 2, H, has two components with helicase activity and so is involved in the separating of opposing strand of double-stranded DNA to form the initial transcription bubble. Though only a low or basal rate of the transcription is driven by the pre-initiation complex alone, and additional proteins known as activators and repressors along with any associated co-activators or co-pressors are responsible for modulating transcription rate. Thus, pre-initiation complex contains core promoter sequence, transcription factors, RNA polymerase, activators, and repressors. The transcription pre-initiation in archaea is in essence homologous to that of eukaryotes but is much less complex. The archaeal pre-initiation complex assembles at a Tata box binding site. However, in archaea, this complex is composed of only RNA polymerase 2, TBP and TFB. That is the archaeal homologue of eukaryotic transcription factor 2B, TFIIB. RNA polymerase 1, that is pol 1, catalyzes the transcription of all rRNA genes except 5S. These rRNA genes are organized into a single transcriptional unit and are transcribed into a continuous transcript. This precursor is then processed into 3 rRNAs, that is 18S, 5.8S and 28S. The transcription of rRNA genes takes place in a specialized structure of the nucleus called the nucleolus, where the transcribed rRNAs are combined with proteins to form ribosomes. RNA polymerase II is responsible for the transcription of all mRNAs, some snRNAs, siRNAs, and all miRNAs. Many pool2 transcripts exist transiently as single-strand precursor RNAs that are further processed to generate mature RNAs. For example, precursor mRNAs are extensively processed before existing into the cytoplasm through the nuclear pore for protein translation. RNA polymerase III, Pol3, transcribes small non-coding RNAs including tRNAs, 5S rRNAs, U6 snRNA, srpRNA, and other stable short RNAs such as ribonuclease pRNA. Now come to promoter melting and open complex formation. For Pol2 transcribed genes, unlike bacterial RNA polymerase, promoter melting requires hydrolysis of ATP and is mediated by TFIIH. TFIIH is a 10 subunit protein including both ATPase and protein kinase activities, while the upstream promoter DNA is held in a fixed position by TFIID. TFIIH pulls downstream double-stranded DNA into the left cleft of the polymerase, driving the separation of DNA strands and the transition of the pre-initiation complex from the closed to open state. TFIIB aids in open complex formation by binding the melted DNA and stabilizing the transcription bubble. Now come to initiation. An RNA polymerase along with general transcription factors binds to the promoter region of the gene to form a closed complex called the pre-initiation complex. The subsequent transition of the complex formed from the closed state to the open state results in the melting or separation of the two DNA strands and the positioning of the template strand to the site of the RNA polymerase. Without the need of the primer, RNA polymerase can initiate the synthesis of a new RNA chain using the template DNA strand to guide ribonucleotide selection and polymerization chemistry. However, many of the initiated syntheses are aborted before the transcripts reach a significant length. During these abortive cycles, the polymerase keeps making and releasing short transcripts until it is able to produce a transcript that surpasses 10 nucleotides in length. Once this threshold is attained, RNA polymerase escapes the promoter and transcription proceeds to the elongation phase. Now come to elongation. Transcription elongation is a progressive process. Double-stranded DNA that enters into the front of the enzyme is unzipped to avail the template strand for RNA synthesis. For every DNA base pair separated by the advancing polymerase, one hybrid RNA to DNA base pair is immediately formed. DNA strands and transient RNA chain exist from separate channels. The two DNA strands reunite at the trailing end of the transcription bubble while the single strand RNA emerges alone. Now come to elongation factors. Among the proteins recruited to polymerase are elongation factors, thus called because they stimulate transcription elongation. There are different classes of elongation factors. Some factors can increase the overall rate of transcribing. Some can help the polymerase through transient pausing sites and some can assist the polymerase to transcribe through chromatin. One of the elongation factors, PTEFB is particularly important. PTEFB phosphorylates the second residue of the CTD repeats of the bound pole 2. PTEFB also phosphorylates and activates SPT5 and TATSF1. SPT5 is a universal transcription factor that helps recruit 5' capping enzyme to pole 2 with a CTD phosphorylated at SER5. TAFSF1 recruits components of RNA splicing machinery to the SER2 phosphorylated CTD. Now come to PTEFB also helps suppress transient pausing of polymerase when it encounters certain sequences immediately following initiation. Now come to RNA processing. Elongating polymerase is associated with a set of protein factors required for various types of RNA processing. mRNA is capped as soon as it emerges from RNA exit channel of the polymerase. After capping, dephosphorylation of SER5 within the CTD repeats may be responsible for dissociation of the capping machinery. Further phosphorylation of SER2 causes recruitment of the RNA splicing machinery that catalyzes the removal of non-coding introns to generate mature mRNAs. Alternative splicing expands the protein complements in eukaryotes. Just as with 5' capping and splicing, the CTD tails is involved in recruiting enzymes responsible for 3' polyadenylation, the final RNA processing event that is coupled with the termination of transcription. Now come to termination. The last stage of transcription is termination, which leads to the dissociation of the complete transcript and the release of RNA polymerase from the template DNA. The process differs for each of the three RNA polymerases. The mechanism of termination is the least understood of the three transcription stages. Now come to factor dependent transcription. Come to factor dependent termination. The termination of transcription of pre-rRNA genes by polymerase pole 1 is performed by a system that needs a specific transcription termination factor. Eukaryotic cells contain hundreds of ribosomal DNA repeats, sometimes distributed over multiple chromosomes. Termination of transcription occurs in the ribosomal intergenic spacer region that contains several transcription termination sites upstream of a pole 1 pausing site. Through a yet unknown mechanism, the 3' end of the transcript is cleaved, generating a large primary rRNA molecule that is further processed into the mature 18S, 5.8S, and 28S rRNAs. In the process of terminating transcription by pole 1, pole 2, and the elongation complex does not dissolve immediately after the RNA is cleaved. The polymerase continues to move along the template, generating a second RNA molecule associated with the elongation complex. The two models have been proposed to explain how termination is achieved at last. The allosteric model states that when transcription proceeds through the termination sequences, it causes disassembly of elongation factors and an assembly of termination factors that cause conformational changes of the elongation complex. The torpedo model suggests that a 5' to 3' exonuclease degrades the second RNA as it emerges from the elongation complex. Now come to factor independent termination. RNA polymerase III can terminate transcription efficiently without involvement of additional factors. The pol 3 termination signal consists of a stretch of thymine located within 40 base pair downstream from the 3' end of mature RNAs. The poly T termination signal possesses pole 3 and causes it to backtrack to the nearest RNA hairpin to become a dead end complex. Consistent with the allosteric mechanism of termination, the RNA hairpin allosterically opens pole 3 and causes the elongation complex to disintegrate. The extensive structure embedded in the pole 3 transcript thus is responsible for the factor independent release of pole 3 at the end of a gene. RNA duplex dependent termination is an ancient mechanism that dates back to the last universal common ancestor. Now come to inhibitor. What do you mean by inhibitor? Transcription inhibitors can be used as antibiotic agents, for example, pathogenic bacteria and fungi. Pathogenic bacteria means antibacterials and fungi means antifungals. An example of such an antibacterial is rifampicin, which inhibits prokaryotic DNA transcription into mRNA by inhibiting DNA-dependent RNA polymerase by binding its beta subunit. 8-hydroxyquinoline is an antifungal transcription inhibitor. The effects of histone methylation may also work to inhibit the action of transcription. Now come to transcription can be measured and detected in a variety of ways. Let's know about the ways. First, nuclear run-on assay measures the relative abundance of newly formed transcripts. Next is northern blot, the transitional method that until the advent of RNA sequence the most quantitative. Next is RNase protection assay and chip of RNAP. Detect active transcription sites. Now come to RT-PCR. Next step is RT-PCR. It measures the absolute abundance of total or nuclear RNA levels which may though vary from transcription rates. Now come to DNA microarrays. It measures the relative abundance of the global total or nuclear RNA levels, yet these may differ from transcription rates. Next is in situ hybridization. It detects the presence of a transcript. MS2 tagging. By incorporating RNA stem loops such as MS2 into a gene, this becomes incorporated into newly synthesized RNA. The stem loops can then be detected using a fusion of GFP and the MS2 code protein, which has a high affinity sequence specific interaction with the MS2 stem loops. The requirement of GFP to the site of transcription is visualized as a single fluorescent spot. This new approach has revealed that transcription occurs in discontinuous bursts or pulses. With the notable exception of in situ techniques, most other methods provide cell population averages and are not capable of detecting this fundamental property of genes. Now come to reverse transcription. In the case of HIV, reverse transcriptase is responsible for synthesizing a complementary DNA strand to the viral RNA genome. The enzyme ribonuclease H then digests the RNA strand and reverse transcriptase synthesizes a complementary strand of DNA to form a double helix DNA structure. The cDNA is integrated into the host cell's genome by the enzyme integrase, which causes the host cell to generate viral proteins that resemble into new viral particles. Some eukaryotic cells contain an enzyme with reverse transcription activity called telomerase. Telomerase is a reverse transcriptase that lengthens the end of linear chromosomes. Telomerase carries an RNA template from which it synthesizes a repeating sequence of DNA or junk DNA. This repeated sequence of DNA is called a telomere and can thought of as a cap for the chromosome. It is important because every time a linear chromosome is duplicated, it is shortened. Activation of telomerase could be part of the process that allows cancer cells to become immortal. The immortalizing factor of cancer via telomere lengthening due to telomerase has been proven to occur in 90% of all carcinogenic tumors in vivo, with the remaining 10% using an alternative telomere maintenance route called ALT or alternative lengthening of telomeres. Nuclear RNA polymerases. A single RNA polymerase is responsible for transcription of all different types of RNAs in prokaryotes. However, eukaryotes have three different RNA polymerases: RNA pol 1, RNA pol 2, and RNA pol 3. An additional RNA polymerase is found in mitochondria as well as in the chloroplast, which carry a small DNA molecule of their own. RNA pol is responsible for synthesizing most of the rRNA. PO111 synthesizes mRNA and most of the snRNA, and pol 3 synthesizes a variety of small stable RNAs including tRNA, 5S rRNA, and U6 snRNA. All eukaryotic RNA polymerases are large proteins appearing as aggregates of smaller than 500 kilodalton. Each RNA POP is a multi-subunit protein, that is 8 to 12 subunits. Eukaryotic POP2 consists of 12 subunits. The two largest subunits are homologous to the bacterial beta and beta dash subunits. In addition to the increased number of subunits, eukaryotic pol 2 differs from its eukaryotic counterpart in that it has a series of haptid repeats with the consensus sequence. TIRE, SER, PRO, THR, SER, PRO, SER are the carboxyl terminal of the largest pol 2 subunit. This carboxyl terminal domain CTD is both a substrate for several kinases including the kinase component of TF23, TFIIH, and a binding site for a wide array of proteins. RNA PO1 in eukaryotes displays differing sensitivities to a toxin called U-amanitin, a cyclic octapeptide that is produced by the poisonous mushroom Amanita phalloides, which is also called the death cap or the destroying angel. The amanitin works by interfering with the translocation process during RNA elongation. POP2 is the most sensitive to alpha amanitin and pol is completely resistant. Mitochondrial RNA pol is encoded by nuclear genes. It is heterodimer and composed of two subunits. One subunit is related to the monomeric RNA pol of bacteriophage T7 and the other subunit resembles a factor of eubacterial RNA pol. In chloroplast of higher plants, there are two types of RNA pol: chloroplast encoded RNA PO1 and P01 and nuclear encoded RNA pol. Chloroplast encoded RNA P01 is a eubacterial type multi-subunit enzyme whose catalytic core subunits are encoded by the chloroplast genome. The core subunits of the eubacterial type enzyme alpha, beta, beta gamma, beta dash and gamma subunits are encoded by the chiroplast DNA, whereas factors are encoded in the nuclear DNA. The nuclear encoded RNA pole is the nuclear encoded T7 phase type single subunit enzyme. Now come to eukaryotic promoter. In eukaryotes, the term promoter is used to describe all the sequences that are important in the initiation of transcription of a gene. For genes, these sequences not only include the core promoter, which is the site at which the initiation complex is assembled, but also one or more upstream promoter elements, which are their name implies lies upstream of the core promoter. Initiation of transcription in eukaryotes requires the enzyme RNA polymerase and transcription factors. The transcription factors, rather than the RNA polymerase, are principally responsible for recognizing the promoter. This is different from the bacterial RNA polymerase, where it is the RNA polymerase that recognizes the promoter sequences. The transcription factors create the structure at the promoter to provide the target that is recognized by the RNA polymerase. Now come to RNA polymerase 1 promoter or RNA pol 1 promoter. RNA polymerase 1 promoter consists of a core promoter spanning the transcription start point between nucleotide 45 to 45 and plus 20 and are upstream control element UCE about 100 base pair further upstream. The core promoter is generally GC rich except a short A T rich sequence around the start point called INR. Now come to RNA polymerase 3 promoter. The most striking and unusual feature of the promoters used by POL3 is that the majority includes important sequence elements downstream of the transcription start site within the transcribed region. Type 1 promoter requires two internal elements for efficient transcription: an A block located between plus 50 and 7 plus 70 and a C block from plus 80 to plus 90. Type 2 promoter consists of two highly conserved sequence blocks, that is A and B, located within the transcribed region. Type 3 promoter consists of a data box located between minus 30 and minus 25, a proximal sequence element between minus 66 and minus 46, and a distal sequence element between minus 244 and minus 214. Now come to RNA polymerase 2 promoter. RNA polymerase 2 promoters are variable and can stretch for several kilobases upstream of the transcription start site. The core promoter consists of two segments, the minus 30 or data box and the initiator INR sequence. Located around nucleotide plus 1, initiators are rich in pyrimidines. Some genes transcribed by RNA polymerase 2 have only one of these two components of the core promoter, and some surprisingly have neither. The latter are called null genes. Apart from two core promoter elements, the data box and the sequence that serve as specific binding sites for general transcription factors, other cis-acting sequences serve as binding sites for a wide variety of regulatory factors that control the expression of individual genes. These cis-acting regulatory sequences are frequently, though not always located upstream of the data box. For example, two regulatory sequences that are found in many eukaryotic genes are CAA-T box and GGG-CGG. CAA-T box, GC box are orientation dependent, that is function in either orientation. The CAA-T box is recognized by the activators NF1 and NFY, whereas GC box is recognized by SP1 activator. A few genes have a downstream promoter element located at position plus 28 to plus 32. DPE has a variable sequence and binds TF to TFIID. The consensus sequence present in core promoter primarily determines the location of the start point, whereas the sequence elements further upstream influence the frequency of initiation. The elements found in any individual promoter differ in number, location, and orientation. No elements is common to all the promoters. Now come to transcription factors. Unlike bacterial RNA pole, purified eukaryotic RNA pole 2 could not initiate transcription in vitro. Transcription of eukaryotic genes requires many protein factors called transcription factors apart from RNA polymerase to initiate as well as a regulate transcription. Transcription factor is transregulatory, usually a soluble protein produced by a gene distant from the chromosome region chart it affects. It attaches to DNA at a gene regulatory site and by doing so influences the rate of transcription of a specific gene. Transcription factors come into general types. Basal transcription factor, which attach to gene promoters, and regulatory transcription factor, which bind to regulatory sequences like enhancers and silencers. Basal transcription factors determine the transcription start site. Regulatory transcription factors may be repressors or transcription activators. The transcriptional activators like bind to regulatory DNA sequences and stimulate transcription. Now come to transcription initiation by RNA polymerase 2. Gene transcription transcribed by RNA polymerase 2 first bind with the general transcription factor TFIID, which is a complex made up of data binding protein TBP and at least 12 TBP associated factor. TBP is a sequence specific protein that binds to DNA via its unusual TBP domain, which makes contact with the minor groove in the region of the data box. After TFIID has attached to the core promoter, the pre-initiation complex PIC is formed by the attachment of the remaining GTFs. These GTFs bind to the complex in the order TFIIA, TFIIB, TFIIF or RNA polymerase 2 and TFIIE and TFIIT1. The final step in the assembly of the initiation complex is the addition of the phosphate group or to the C-terminal domain of the largest subunit of RNA polymerase 2. The CTD contains a stretch of 7 amino acids that is repeated multiple times. Once phosphorylated, the polymerase is able to leave the pre-initiation complex and begin synthesizing RNA. Phosphorylation might be carried out by TFIIH. Transcription initiation in a eukaryotic cell is a more complex process. It requires the presence of transcriptional activator proteins which bind to specific sequences in DNA. A typical eukaryotic gene has many activator proteins which together determine its rate and pattern of transcription. Now come to transcription termination. In eukaryotes, termination of transcription occurs by different processes depending on the type of polymerase utilized. For pol 1 genes, transcription is stopped by different processes depending on the type of polymerase utilized. For pol 1 genes, transcription is stopped using a termination factor through a mechanism similar to row-dependent termination in bacteria. Transcription of pol 3 gene, polymerase 3 genes, ends after transcribing a termination sequence that includes a polyuracil stretch by a mechanism resembling row-dependent prokaryotic termination. Termination of pol 2 transcripts, however, is more complex. Pol 2 termination of most protein coding genes is functionally coupled with an RNA processing event in which the 3' end of the nascent transcript undergoes cleavage and polyadenylation. Now come to antibiotic inhibitors of transcription. Rifampicin and actinomycin are the two antibiotics that inhibit transcription. Rifampicin is a semi-synthetic derivative of rifamycin. Rifampicin binds in a pocket of the 13 subunit and blocks the path of the elongation RNA. By preventing the RNA chain from extending beyond 2 to 3 nucleotides, this blocks transcription. Actinomycin D binds tightly and specifically to double helical DNA and thereby prevent it from being an effective template for RNA synthesis. It does not bind to single stranded DNA or RNA. Stranded RNA or RNA DNA hybrid. The phenoxazone ring system of actinomycin D intercalates between adjacent G111C base pairs because it is strongly hydrophobic and its dimension permits it to slip into the space between the pairs with minimal deformation of the double helix. The two cyclic peptide structures bind to the minor groove of the double helix. The deformation of the helix caused by the intercalated actinomycin D prevents the movement of RNA polymerase along the DNA template and thus inhibits RNA synthesis. It is extensively used as a transcription inhibitor for the formation of new RNA in both prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. Now come to role of activator and co-activator.